Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. For good and more people of the tube, hope it's grand and all's well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Today, people of the tube, we are going to be fret leveling the Encore JHS 1E that I got. I got this guitar a while back now. I did a video on the first kind of night I got it, and the frets are terrible. It actually plays the same note there. It's just a nightmare, and if you look down it, you can see it's like high and low spots all over the place. I'm not the best at fret leveling, to be honest with you. What I know, I can get it to work, but they're not the neatest. But I can get it to work. It invariably kind of like, isn't the best job in the world. But I'm going to do what I can with this today. And again, another thing about this guitar, people tube, is these frets are already extremely low. So I'm not sure what this is going to be like after I've actually leveled it. It might just have to go for a refret. I don't know at this point in time. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But it's something I've wanted to do with this guitar fret level for a long time, but I just haven't had the time. So here we are now. So gonna get the strings off. I'm not going to take the neck off the body. There's no point. It will kind of the body will add more stability to the neck. I'm going to shove it on a neck stand. That's my phone. I do apologise. And I'm just going to talk you through what I do, which is basically, if you've seen Crimson Guitars, that's basically what he does, basically, and he does it better than I do. But I'm going to show you me doing it. I'm going to try and get the neck as flat and as straight as I can. And get the frets as level as I can, and hopefully get it to play a bit better than it does right now. I have shimmed the neck since the last time you've seen this guitar, which has made a massive difference in the way it is. But the frets are diabolical. Like I say, this might need a full refret. I might not be able to level it to a point where it's playable. They might just be too low. But we're going to try, We're going to try. Anyway, in this vid. So, let's get to it, shall we? Get the strings off, and I'm going to try and get that nut out as well. Just to see if I can, just to make it a bit easier so I don't end up smashing it or anything when I'm fret leveling, because I'm a bit clumsy. So, without further ado, people tube, I can't speak today. I'm very tired. Let's try and fret level the Encore JHS 1E, which I have yet to find any more information about. Let's go. Okay, people tube, strings are off. I'm not going to restring it. These strings have barely been played, so there's no point getting new strings on it. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to mask off the front of this guitar. So I'm not going to scuff it up, basically, with the leveling beam. So I'm not trying to be Mr. Neat here. The guitar isn't exactly a 59 Les Paul or anything like that. So it doesn't need to be kind of like, preserved. Plus, the really cool thing is because it's I don't know what the fretboard is. It looks like maple because it's kind of like a stained fretboard. I don't really have to mask the fretboard off. I can get away with not masking the fretboard off, which is always a plus, because that can be quite time-consuming, to say the least. So, where did I put my leveling beam? Anyway, is it behind me? It's there. There it is. Ha 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 ha. So, leveling beam I've got has, I believe, I don't remember. I did change it, but I think it's got 400 grit sandpaper on the bottom there. And basically, what I'm going to do is, again, there are people all over YouTube that do this way better than me. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the top of the frets with permanent marker. So, and I invariably slip at some point and end up colouring in the fretboard because, I'm clumsy. I'm not the most... see, it just did it. I'm not the most coordinated human being, people of YouTube. Let's put it that way. In all fairness, I'm extremely uncoordinated most of the time. I walk into doors and stuff like that. It's very painful. Anyway, so I couldn't get the nut out. The nut is basically lacquered into within an inch of its life. It also looks, people with tube. Now I look at this nut a bit more. It actually looks like it's been restrung left-handed at some point as well. I don't know if it has, but it definitely looks like it. Okay, so... Oh yeah, I need, the first things first, I nearly forgot a step here. I need to check this neck is actually straight, because I don't actually know if it is at this point in time. So I'm just going to check it by eye, because it looks pretty bob on. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this notched straight edge thing here just to double check it, make sure it is as flat as a pancake before I do level it. So back in a sec. Okay, BoobTube, so I've got the neck as straight as I can with the not straight edge. It's basically in contact with every single bit, so it's as flat as it can be. Another thing I do, and again, I don't know, I just talking to Queenie about it, I don't know if this is does anything whatsoever, but what I do after I've done the not straight edge and make sure the neck is as flat and it looks flat as well, I use my eyes as well as this, because it's good to train your eye, not just rely on this. Another thing I tend to do is I get a spirit level. Funny enough, this is my original leveling beam that I used for years, actually. But what I do is I put the spirit level on the frets. I mean, the frets are wonky, but I'm after the straightness of the neck, so I'm not after that. And I don't know if this has anything to do with the neck being level or what, but I always do this. I don't know. I just it's just a step I don't miss. So I put the spirit level on the neck, and look where the bubble is when it's down here. So at this point in time, the bubble is a little bit over to the left side because obviously the guitar's angle. And my thinking is, when I move the spirit level down here, the bubble should be in the exact same place, and that means the neck's totally level. If the neck was slightly up-bowed, the bubble's going to fall that way. If it's back-bowed, it's going to fall this way. So I always use the spirit level just to check. And again, I don't know if that actually does anything, but I always find that it helps. And again, on this one now, the bubble isn't moving, so jobs are good. And so, next level, come over here, BoobTube. So next level, oh, by the way, you join me again on my my amazing worktop table, the floor. Next level, let's get the camera in position. We can start fret leveling now. So, put this over here and then put you there, BoobTube. Hopefully you can kind of see. No, that's the wrong way around, Davey, you fool. Okay, I'm doing this with an LCD screen that shows me upside down. So back in a minute. Okay, so here we go, BoobTube. So the key is minimal pressure. You don't want to be pressing down on the leveling beam and like bending the neck, because you're not going to get an even thing. One thing that's really good to do is to put your hand underneath, and you can kind of feel if you're pressing the neck. But what I tend to do is basically just touch the leveling beam on top, and don't put any pressure on it whatsoever. I'm not pressing down on it. It's not about removing oodles and oodles of metal from the top of the frets. It's just literally about skimming the top and seeing where we stand. So this is the first pass. What I do is just basically move left to right, nice and easy, and go across the frets. And again, I'm not putting any pressure on this. I don't want to be like, scrapey. None of that nonsense. We're not doing that. We're literally just trying to take the top off. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and we're going to look. Oh my good lord. So, this fret here, super high. I thought it was because I could see it. This one, and that one, they've all been touched by the leveling beam. This one's semi... I'll show you, actually. Actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it at all, but let's try. Let's try and get you in here. So, fret 1, you can see they're silver, and now you can start to see bits of permanent marker been left. And in this middle section here, basically nothing's been touched. So we have basically a dip, which you can kind of see when you look at the guitar down the fretboard. this is just it's just bad. It's just very, very bad fretwork. And again, you've got this fret down here that's super high. This one is ridiculously high. You can see how much metal has come off that already, and we kind of hit a bit on top of that one as well. So this is going to take a bit of time. So, but that's it. I mean, that is literally fret leveling. It's basically just you just go until basically all the permanent markers gone, and it's just a bit tedious, to be honest with you, people with tubes sometimes. Just got to keep going. And one thing I will say is it's key not to lose your patience with it, because it's very easy to all of a sudden go, right, I'm going to cane it for a bit and just start digging into the frets, and all of a sudden you've ruined it, you know, because it's very possible, and I've done that, so don't do that. Yeah, be very careful, be very patient, nice and slow, very easy. There's no point rushing it at all. You want to get it right, so you can only get things right when you slow down. So anyway, you can see what I'm watching on television now. Anyway, I'm going to keep going with the leveling beam. I'm not going to film it because you don't need to see it. You've seen what I do. It's very simple. Like, it's this. I'm not putting any pressure on it whatsoever. I'm just going over and over and over it again. And I'll keep doing this monotonous work until all the permanent markers gone. So we're starting to make inroads. You know, I can't believe these frets are extremely tough. They're not stainless steel, and they're not exactly great. So I can't think it'll take too long, but we'll see where we are. What time are we on now? So at this point in time, it's 2:15 in the afternoon. I'm going to keep doing this, and then I'll turn on the camera again once it's done, and we'll go from there and go to the next step. But again, don't want to be pressing down too hard, if at all. You don't want to be pressing down at all. That's what I want to say. Just let the beam do its job. You know, it's like a saw. You know, you don't. When you're sawing into a bit of wood, you know, you let the saw do its job. You're not there to do it. The saw's there. You're not the saw. So same thing with leveling beam. Just keep making passes over and over and over again until all is well. So see you in a sec. Okay, but so I'm going to stop my leveling here, because if I go much further, there ain't going to be any fret left. So I've got them pretty much bob on. I'll show you quick. Apart from a few. So these load here, the bottom end, were horrifically high. They were so uneven. This one was the highest fret on the entire guitar. It was the highest one on the entire board. It's mental. So these are all pretty good. That one's not great. That one's not great at all. You can still see it as black. But again, if I go any further than this, we're not going to have any fret left. So that's not great. That one's okay. That one's not great. That one's fine. So the majority of them are good, but I'm going to have to kind of cut my losses a bit with this guitar, unfortunately. I can't get it perfect, and my inner OCD finds that very, very, very frustrating. But they are all good. So you can see all the permanent marker has come off these ones, and you'll see there where it starts to come back in a bit, and then once you get down to the bottom ones again, it goes away. So a bit of a problem around the 12th fret area. That might come back and haunt me when I string it up, but it is pretty even. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. One of my main problems was this fret here. That was a real pig. That was far too high. Anyway, that didn't take actually that long, because I thought it's 25 to 3 now. I thought that would take a lot longer than it did, but again, the fret wire isn't actually that great, so either way. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I need to, one of the things I'm going to do, firstly, actually, is this. Come down here, there we go. So, one of the things I'm going to do is, instead of going this way with the leveling beam, what I'm going to do now is, I think I can get the whole board with this. I'm just going to go this way across, because this is the way the strings go. When you're bending strings, you're not bending them that way. You're bending them up and down. So I always like the idea of going this way, just to kind of finish it. And what this kind of does, it kind of buffs it up, and it also gets rid of the kind of vertical, linear, across that way scratches in the frets. Just do this a bit until they look pretty good. Again, this guitar is never going to be like a masterpiece of its frets, but I just want to get them as good as I can get them, if at all possible. So, looking pretty good. There's a bit rougher, and again, you can kind of see in the light. If you look in the light when you're doing this, you can kind of see what's going on. You can kind of still see scuff marks and what's going on here and there. So again, always use your eyes to kind of see. Don't just kind of rely on going, oh, that'll do. You know, you really need to see it as well as kind of like, you know, I don't know, trusting what you're using. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know if that does. But okay, so that's happy days, and that's a lot smoother. So now, next job is well, the question is, do I crown them? Because in all fairness, there isn't a great deal there. So I think I'm going to skip the crowning process. I will explain what that is though, quick. And I don't really see the point on this guitar. So what the crowning process is basically making the fret now, which basically, if you come up here, PeopleTube, look at me. Okay, so if you think now, our fret basically looks like this on the top. It's flat top. So yeah, there we go. So it's a flat top at this point in time. What we need to do now is basically, and it kind of looks like that down the sides. So it's basically like this. What we need to do now is kind of put a intonation point down the middle of the fret. And there's a couple of different ways of doing that, but what I'm not going to do it to this guitar. It's just intonation on this guitar ain't exactly a thing, so I'm not going to bother doing it. I'm going to skip that step. It's just no point. Plus, there's barely any fret for me to do it with anyway. So basically, what we'll do is we'll take this file, the fret saver, and we would basically kind of sand this side down, and then sand this side down until it kind of like came to like basically a flat top kind of pyramid, so to say. And then basically what I'm going to do is go over what if I was doing that. When what I would do is I'm going to go over it with these fret rubbers and buff the frets up as best I can. You know, try and get all the scratches out. Start with the coarse fret rubber, going out to medium, fine, super fine, and basically buff them up. And this is the part that requires a bit of elbow grease. And then once that's done, we'll rehydrate the fretboard, and then we'll restring it and see if we are victorious or a failure. So yeah, the crowning job just seems a bit pointless on this guitar because, like I say, that's our intonation point bridge. It's not exactly precision engineering here, so we'll miss that step for now. Anyway, you never know, it might be fine. Yeah, so fret rubbers. This is what we do. So come down here. Okay, so basically this is the very worn out now coarse fret rubber, and basically you just go over the fret like this. And again, because the fretboard's not it's not maple. I don't know what is maple, I think, but I don't actually know what it is. I'm not going to mask it off. There's just no point. So that's coming up really good. And the idea is, when you look in the light, I won't be able to show you this on camera, PeopleTube. It just won't happen. But when you look down the fret, you can normally see little scratch marks from the leveling beam. And you're right, the purpose of the fret rubbers is to get rid of those and make them a nice shiny fret. And again, this won't actually affect the leveling using this because it's a very, very kind of mild thing, so it's not going to actually kind of ruin your handiwork, so to say. So that's the really coarse one. This is the medium one. I'll show you one fret, PeopleTube, and then I've got to do all the rest. I'll show you what it should end up like. should end up like. I really love this guitar, but I can't find any information about it whatsoever. Really cool thing about these fret rubbers as well is I can use it on the fretboard as well to clean it up and buff it up. So it does require a bit of elbow grease, this one. So that's the medium. Now we go to fine. Oh, yes, mate. This looks good. I'm happy with this. And then super fine just to finish it off. And we are... Well, what's that one done? So let me show you that, people of YouTube, if I can. So again, I do apologise about the moving of the camera all the time. But I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but it's very shiny. That bottom fret. It's a lot shinier than the one in front of it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up at all. But that's it. That is literally it's very simple. So the key is now. Well, I've got to keep doing that, and then hopefully, when we restring it, it'll be better than it was. Fingers crossed. But saying that, it can't be any worse than it was. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I'm going to continue with the fret rubbers, and see you in a bit. Okay, so polish the frets as best I can. This fret wire is not good. At all, to be honest with you. It's really bad, but kind of to be expected, really. I mean, it's not exactly, like I say, it's not 59 Les Paul. All remains now is to get rid of all the dust. And I'm going to rehydrate the neck with that fretboard restorative from Crimson Guitars. It's amazing, and it just works extraordinarily well. I don't use lemon oil anymore. I will never use lemon oil again because it I don't know if anybody else found it, but I always used to get confused with lemon oil. It said, oh, it hydrates the fretboard. I'm like, oh, great. And then I put it on, and 2 days later, your neck would look like a bloody Aral Sea. And it just wouldn't look, it never looked any good. And it was just like, oh, God, well, I don't really want to use that. My guitar neck looks like it's suffering. Dry as a bone. So when this stuff came along, the Crimson Guitars fretboard restorative, I thought I'll give it a go, and literally I will never use anything else. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible. It just brings your fretboard back to life. It really does. And this looks amazing. And that's it. I've already done this once, I say not so long ago. So now, people of YouTube, we wait. I'm going to give that 5 minutes or so, let it sink in, and then get rid of the excess on it, and then put the strings back on and the bridge and see if I've made it better or better, because I can't make it worse because it was horrific. So looking down it, actually, looking down the neck, the frets look so much better. Like when you look down the neck before, it was like there was like walls like higher than others. It was crazy. It was just there was stuff everywhere. But yeah, now it does look a bit more level. So hopefully it should play a little bit better than it did. Like I say, in off camera I have shimmed the neck. I did that a while back. I did that the next day actually after the initial video on this guitar. But and that made a lot of difference. The neck was at the wrong angle completely. But you find that quite a lot with these kind of old guitars from the 70s and the 60s, and you know the necks are invariably wrong. You know, Fender necks are normally wrong as well. Stratocasters and Telecasters, they need shims in them. Anyway, so I'm going to let that soak in, and then buff up the fretboard, clean the fretboard, put the strings back on. Next thing you'll see is me plugging it in and hoping that my job was good enough. Like I say, these frets were not easy to work with. There's not a great deal of strength in them, to be honest with you. So I'm a bit edgy. I was a bit edgy about going too far with it. And again, I can't really afford to get this guitar refretted. So I don't want to take too much off, where it gets to a point where I can't play the thing. So yeah. Anyway, let that sink in, and like I said, then we'll plug it in and see where we go. So see you in a moo-moo. over the tube, got it strung back up, got it kind of set semi up. It works. It's got such a weird little sound. How cool does it sound though? It works. It works. I have successfully fret leveled the Encore JSH 1E. It lives. There's not much else to do to this guitar, Pikachu. That is literally it. I don't think I'm ever going to play this guitar enough to warrant me ever doing that again. And it's not worth really kind of like getting it refretted. The neck itself is bob on. We've got a little bit of relief in the neck, which I like. I don't like it when neck's perfectly straight. Other than that, it's ready to go. So I'm going to turn this Marshall off. It affected the television. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was really weird. I hope I caught that on camera in the bottom, well, top left, top right, I don't know. There. Turning the Marshall off affected the telly. Anyway, I'm going to go and plug this in upstairs with the tube into the big rig. And play some blues. How about that? Shall we do that? Yes, let's do that. Because I haven't actually plugged this into my pedal setup yet. Weirdly, because it didn't play with the frets being a nightmare. Because it didn't play, I haven't actually touched it since basically buying it. That first video, I haven't really touched it because I would say I needed to do the frets on it so I could actually play the thing, and now I can. We will. So let's go. There you go. That is the Encore JHS 1E. That's it, finished. Well, maybe. I'm not going to say anything else just for now because I might not do what I'm thinking. Anyway, but that's it, Pikachu. It sounds really. It plays like an absolute beast. It plays really well. The only thing that's really, really weird because I'm missing frets because it's only got 17. It's only got 19 frets. The neck's sat so far in this way, it's really strange. It feels really weird to play it. And it's quite hard to kind of judge your distances. But it works. I'm happy with it. There is a couple of issues with the string slide, especially the high E string. You probably saw me doing it. Putting it back in the slot. The slots, they tend to the strings tend to slip out. But it plays so well. And it plays on every fret as well. So I'm very, very happy. I was a bit wary about some of the frets that I couldn't get to because, again, super low and I'm getting a bit It was getting a bit sketchy of how low they were all getting, but I'm really happy it works. I'm happy that it sounds amazing. I love it. I absolutely love this thing. And it, not only does it sound and, play amazingly, it looks so cool. Just looking at it in the LCD screen, look at the colour of the neck as well. That's a proper Teisco colour neck. Looking at the LCD screen, it's so cool to look at this guitar. And again, bullet truss rod. Got the Encore logo there. Yeah, is what it is, PeopleTube. Nothing's replaced on this guitar. All the electrics are stock. Machine heads are stock. All I've done is fret level it, set it up and restring it. And fully functioning, awesome guitar. I love this thing. So cool. It's got such a unique little sound to it. It's very bluesy. Really does kind of remind me of like it's got like Teisco thing, and they're just reek of blues to me. It's amazing. I love it. This guitar's so cool. I'm so happy to own this. Yeah, I don't know much about these at all, but all I know is I love this one, and it's going nowhere fast. I'll tell you that for sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, PeopleTube, on fret leveling this thing and also hearing this thing. I've really enjoyed playing this. Love it to bits. I love the fact it plays now as well. It was just a nightmare. Listen to it unplugged, PeopleTube. It sounds really weird. It's got a real mid-range to it, which is really, really awesome. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, PeopleTube. If you like the videos I do here on this channel, Please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Link to that is in the description box below, as well as links to other things as well. Other than that, I will see you again very soon for another video. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and goodbye now. Thank you very much indeed for watching. See you again. And if you see one of these things, buy it. They're amazing. Absolutely wicked. Saying that, if you do see one of these things, I've only ever seen 2 others. What are these things? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye now.